Ukraine is Europe de facto, so when de jure. Russia is on fire and under the flood. Universal karma? Good afternoon. All is hard truth in easy terms by Henry Keane in the UATV English studio with the whole free world directly from Ukraine. The ambassador of the European Union to Ukraine, Katarina Mathernova, is sure Ukraine is ready to start negotiations on joining the EU. The ambassador expects them to start at the end of June.
With this in mind, I really hope that we will start negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova at the end of June. The political signal was sent back in December last year. Ukraine is on the right track. It is ready for negotiations. Katarina Mathernova, ambassador of European Union to Ukraine.
Let us recall it step by step. In May 2023, the Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said that Ukraine should be ready to join the European Union in 2 years. Then in September 2022, Shmyhal said on Bloomberg TV that Ukraine had fulfilled approximately 65 to 70% of association agreement with the EU. Then, at a press conference in Brussels, he further noted we have an ambition in the near future, by the end of this year or the beginning of next one, to start the negotiation procedures that precede the actual granting of EU member status. On November 8, 2023, the European Commission recommended starting negotiations on the accession of Ukraine and Moldova to the EU. On December 14th, the European Council supported the start of negotiations on Ukraine's EU membership by 26 votes. Yet, shortly after the head of the European Council, Charles Michel, said that Ukraine could join the European Union in 2030. And just recently, in March 2024, Shmyhal said that negotiations on Ukraine's accession to the European Union should begin by the end of June this year. And now, Her Excellency, the Ambassador of the European Union, Katarina Mathernova, confirms our all Ukrainian aspirations to be a reality. It is happening.
Every democratic nation in Europe that shares and defends the common values of Europe and the Euro-Atlantic space deserves to be a member of the European Union and the North Atlantic Alliance. And this is a fact. These facts must be confirmed by real actions. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine.
Oh, wait, but what about Hungary? You know, Orban's and their private national interests? Well, after all, Hungary will be presiding over the Council at the time of the voting in the second half of this year. So Ambassador Mathernova believes that the Hungarian presidency of the Council of the European Union is unlikely to negatively affect the pace of negotiations with Ukraine, which may begin in June.
This is not a case where you push your government or national priorities. You have to chair the meeting but facilitate consensus among others. The system is set up so that it does not allow great excesses in this matter. The country has to be an honest mediator, otherwise it will be very difficult to hold meetings in which it will have to preside. Katarina Mathernova, Ambassador of the European Union to Ukraine.
Well, I guess this is a fine answer to the Russian propaganda question. What is the European Union after all? Unity, after all. Russia is under the flood again. No, sorry, it's on the fire this time. Fires have broken out in Buryatia. Dry grass burns as powder. Due to strong winds, the fire has reached residential buildings on the outskirts of cities. In the Buryatia micro-district of the capital of the Republic, which is the Dacha area, mostly private houses caught fire. According to local residents, the cause was the fire of dry grass, as I said, in nearby field from where the fire spread to buildings. Everything is aggravated by the strong wind that is raging there right now. The glow of the fire can be seen from afar, and in another corner of Buryatia, in the village of Selenginsk, a large fire also broke out, a forest caught fire there. The fire, according to local resident, has already reached the cemetery. Well, ain't that hell broke loose picture, right? As forest fires spread to homes in the city of Ulan-Ude, the authorities have announced the evacuation of local residents. The Moscow Times puts it that way, I quote, unsettling climate forecasts, human neglect, lack of resource and zombie fires risk turning Russia's annual wildfire season into a crisis. And Grigory Kuksin, an expert at the Landscape Fire Prevention Center NGO in Russia, informs, I quote, the overall forecast for the upcoming season is rather alarming. It's unlikely that there will be fewer fires than last year, and it's doubtful that they will be managed better. Well, when Russian experts doubt that these fires are managed better than those ones, does that mean, after all, both of them were managed poorly enough to be called a crisis? By May, as warm weather arrives in most regions of Russia, many Russians travel to the countryside as European resorts are, not the likely options anymore, and they have barbecues during public holidays. The fire risks rises, of course. The risks escalate further due to the national Russian habit of burning dry grass, a long-standing practice outlawed actually in Russia by 2015, but who cares? Russia is full of outlaws. Well, don't get me wrong. Get me wrong all you want. Russians causing fires to themselves. Thank you, karma. Well, that concludes today's episode, and thank you so very much for watching. Stay updated, comment, like and subscribe to UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine directly. Your support is what matters. Goodbye.